Assalamualaikum and greetings. I am SHARIF and today I will present a crisis management with a focus on natural disaster in the Asia Pacific region and its impact on the tourism industry. We will go through every topic like introduction, pre-crisis assessment, response during crisis, post-crisis assessment, success and challenge, comparative analysis, recommendation and conclusion. The phenomenon of tourism is a very complex industry and play an important role in contributing to global economic growth. This industry generates a significant income through various sources such as accommodation, food, transportation, recreational activity, and other tourism services. However, the sector is also very vulnerable to various forms of crisis that can have a major impact on its operation. For example, natural disasters such as earthquake and flood, global health crises such as pandemic, as well as security issues including terrorism and political instability can result in drastic decline in tourist numbers. This situation shows that the tourism industry need to careful planning and management to ensure its survival and resilience in the face unexpected challenge. The study focuses on three main disasters, which is the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami in Japan, the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami in Indonesia, and the 2008 Sichuan earthquake in China. The main objective of this study is to analyze crisis management measures in the three main phases before, during, and after the crisis, as well as to identify best practice that can be applied for the future. The 2011 earthquake and tsunami in Japan was one of the strongest earthquakes ever recorded. It happened on March 11, 2011 and is known as the Tohoku earthquake with a magnitude of 9.0, making it the fourth largest earthquake in the world. The massive tsunami caused by this earthquake hit the Pacific coast of Tohoku, destroying coastal towns, damaging roads, buildings, and the environment. It also led to the Fukushima nuclear disaster. The Indian Ocean tsunami on December 26, 2004 was caused by a huge earthquake with a magnitude of 9.0 that happened under the Indian Ocean. This earthquake occurred because two tectonic plates collided and releasing a lot of energy that shook the ocean floor and created a massive tsunami wave. Just 30 minutes after the earthquake, the tsunami hit the Banda Aceh and other coastal areas in Sumatra, Indonesia. The giant wave then reached Thailand, Sri Lanka, and India, eventually traveling all the way to the coast of Africa. The disaster affected over 18 countries from Southeast Asia to Southern Africa and sadly took more than 250,000 lives. On May 12, 2008, a powerful earthquake shook China's Sichuan province. The 8.0 magnitude earthquake caused by the collision of the Indian and Eurasian tectonic plate changed the land and the life of the people forever. In just seconds, cities were destroyed, villages were buried under piles of rubble, and communities became the graveyard of broken concrete and twisted metal. The earthquake's strength was so extreme that nearly 88,000 people lost their lives. Hundreds were injured and many were missing when the dust settled, revealing the full scale of the disaster. The first phase is pre-crisis preparation. In Japan, Japan has long prepared for earthquake by conducting regular earthquake and tsunami risk tests. Measures such as the construction of tsunami walls, vertical evacuation building, and regular evacuation drill have been implemented. This preparation is based on historical data such as the Meiji Sariku earthquake in 1896. In Indonesia, Indonesia faced economic and political challenges that made preparation difficult. The conflict with the Free Aceh movement caused a lack of focus on disaster-resistant infrastructure. After the Sichuan earthquake, the Chinese government acted more transparently, admitted their weakness in predicting disaster, and began the systematic relief preparations. When a crisis occurs, a quick response is very important. On 2011 Tohoku, tsunami warning systems are used to provide information through television, telephone, and radio. Residents were instructed to move to safer areas, while cooperation between the government and tourism helped the recovery process. On 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, The Indonesian government declared a state of emergency and requested international assistance. Despite challenge in the implementation of aid, cooperation with the UN led to the construction of an early warning system for the future. On China Sichuan 2008, the Chinese government sent 130,000 troops to the affected areas. Despite the difficulty in reaching the worst affected areas, the presence of national leaders at disaster site helped build the confidence of the people. After a disaster, long-term recovery becomes the main focus. In Japan, the Japanese government is focusing on rebuilding earthquake and tsunami-resistant infrastructure, as well as continuous analysis to improve SOP for dealing with disaster. In Indonesia Tsunami 2004, the Build Back Better program was introduced to build disaster-resistant infrastructure. Cooperation with NGO also helped the speed up of the recovery. In China, the Chinese government is using a centralized political system to accelerate the recovery, involving rebuilding infrastructure, housing, and economic revitalization. Each country faced its own successes and challenges in dealing with the crisis. In Japan, Japan's sophisticated early warning system and regular evacuation drills are their strength, but the difficulty of channeling aid to remote areas remain as a challenge. In Indonesia, political and economic challenges made initial preparation difficult, but the concept of Build Back Better succeeded in restoring the confidence of the people there. In China, centralized system accelerate the recovery, but over-reliance on central government slowed the immediate action in some areas. There are similarities and differences between the three crises. In terms of commonalities, all countries demonstrate the importance of risk awareness, immediate action during the crisis, and focus on long-term recovery. The difference is Japan emphasized the continuous research, while Indonesia faces political challenges, and in China is leveraging its centralized political system to accelerate the recovery. The similarities: all three governments took long-term recovery measures, and each country improved disaster management after the crisis, and tourism industry was affected and required restoration effort. While the differences is Japan had advanced preparedness before the crisis, and Indonesia struggled with political and economic instability. In China, China used a centralized approach to speed up the recovery. To deal with future disaster, here are my suggestions. The first one is public education. Training and awareness campaign to ensure the community preparedness for disasters. Public education play a crucial role in preparing community for disasters. By organizing training session and awareness campaign, people can learn how to respond effectively in emergencies. This includes teaching the resident about the evacuation route, basic first aid, and how to create emergency kits. Second is use of technology. Early warning systems such as tsunami siren and smartphone application to alert the residents. Technology is an essential tool for disaster management. Early warning systems such as tsunami siren installed in coastal area help alert the resident to incoming threat, giving them precious time to evacuate. Additionally, smartphone application can provide real-time notifications about earthquake, tsunami, or extreme weather events. This application can also share safety tips, maps of safe zone, and update during ongoing disaster. And the last one is tourism industry recovery. Promote less affected alternative tourism destination to restore the economy of disaster-stricken areas. After a disaster, the tourism industry often faces several challenges due to damaged infrastructure and loss of visitors. To rebuild the economy, it is important to promote alternative tourism destinations that were less affected by disaster. Marketing campaign can highlight this area as safe and attractive option for travelers, helping to restore the confidence in the region. In conclusion, each phase in crisis management before, during, and after plays a very important role in reducing the impact of a disaster. From study of Japan, Indonesia, and China, we can see that the strong initial preparation, rapid response, and a systematic recovery strategy are key factors in ensuring more effective recovery. Japan demonstrated the importance of a sophisticated early warning system and regular training. In Indonesia, Indonesia succeeded in rebuilding the country through the Build Back Better approach, while China used a centralized system to speed up the recovery process. From this study, we can take lessons and improve our approach in facing crises in the future. It is hoped that the result of this study can benefit other countries in improving disaster preparedness, response, and recovery. Crisis management phase are crucial. For example, pre-crisis preparation and risk assessment, and during crisis, immediate response and coordination, while post-crisis is about recovery and rebuilding. Lesson we can take from Japan, Indonesia, and China is Japan in advanced preparedness and warning system. Indonesia build back better approach for resilience, while China is centralized system for rapid recovery.